Let us begin by ending a delusion. Fear is not a weakness. It is a tool, but only for those who know how to wield it. For the others, for the multitude, it is the invisible chain they willingly wear around their necks. Fear whispers and they bow. Fear tightens and they retreat. You are not here to be one of them. And if you already feel that difference in yourself, you already know why this resonates. In the corridors of power, fear has always existed. Julius Caesar feared assassination and struck first. Alexander feared stagnation more than death, so he marched into the unknown with fire in his blood. And Machiavelli observed princes crippled not by their enemies, but by hesitation, by the silent pause before action. That pause is the throne where fear rules. It is where empires rot before they ever rise. Ask yourself what would happen if you eliminated fear's authority, if you amputated that internal whisper that delays action, questions worth, and sabotages purpose. You would no longer merely live. You would dominate. You would stop being a product of circumstance and become its architect. Because the truth is simple. He who does not master fear is mastered by it. Fear is not your enemy. Surrender is. And if this thought hits harder than expected, pause for a moment and acknowledge it. Some people will understand this instantly. Others never will. Fear is biological, evolutionary, ancient. It served the hunter when lions stalked the dark. It warned the general when betrayal brewed in the ranks. And it once served traitors too, when survival depended on restraint. But in your world, fear has become a counterfeit monarch, a ghost that rules without merit. And every time you hesitate, every time you see opportunity and freeze, every time you wait for permission that never comes, you obey it. You confirm its dominion. If you've seen this pattern in yourself before, you don't need to deny it. Recognition is already the first fracture in fear's control. Machiavelli wrote that a man who wishes to make a vocation of being good at all times will come to ruin among so many who are not good. The same applies to fear. A man who waits to feel unafraid before acting will die waiting. In markets, as in life, hesitation is rarely neutral. It always has a cost. Fear is a luxury for those who do not seek power. For you, it must become fuel. And if you agree with that, acknowledge it quietly or openly. Hit like if this perspective cuts through the noise for you. Imagine your life with that parasite removed. Imagine the doors you would kick open, the negotiations you would initiate, the alliances you would forge, the enemies you would confront. Imagine how differently you would operate when conditions align and the only thing missing is your decision. Fear is not a wall, it is a mirage. Thin, silent, convincing, until you advance. Then it dissipates, but only for those who move. Movement is the sword that slices fear's illusion in half. Stillness, that sacred refuge for cowards, must become your enemy. Stillness, when dictated by fear, is not patience. It is paralysis dressed as wisdom. In trading, as in power, there is a difference between waiting with intent and waiting because you are afraid to act. One is control, the other is decay. A prince who does not act when threatened loses his head. A man who waits for the perfect moment finds himself ruled by those who act in imperfection. Markets do not reward comfort, they reward clarity. You must stop trading power for safety. Stop treating your nerves like oracles. The path forward is not paved in certainty. It is carved with risk and defended with discipline. If this way of thinking resonates, stay close to it. Subscribe, not out of habit, but so you don't drift back into the old narratives without realizing it. What is courage? It is not the absence of fear. It is defiance in the presence of it. It is the command that says, you may speak, but you will not be obeyed. The ancient generals, the cunning princes, the Renaissance assassins, they all carried fear like a coin in their pocket. Ever present, but never spent. And the same is true for those who endure in uncertain environments. Fear may be present, it never decides. Fear is allowed in the passenger seat, it never touches the wheel. You decide, you act, you execute. And if that sentence feels like it belongs to you, you already know what side of the line you stand on. Here is the principle that separates sovereigns from subjects. Repetition rewires reality. Each time you act despite fear, you shrink it. Each time you follow structure instead of emotion, you reclaim authority. Each step forward is a declaration of war against hesitation. The mind adapts. It does not learn from intention. It learns from behavior. If you hesitate, it learns avoidance. If you execute, it learns control. Nature does not favor the strong, it favors the relentless. And markets are no different. They do not care how confident you feel. They respond only to consistency. Fear is a storyteller, a brilliant liar. It crafts fables of your failure, whispers tales of loss, of embarrassment, of regret. And because it speaks in your voice, you believe it. If you've caught that voice before, comment, hunter. Not for anyone else, for yourself. The Roman legions did not wait for comfort before invading Gaul. They marched with shaking knees. They advanced not because they were fearless, but because retreat was death. You must adopt the same policy. Do not wait to feel bold. Act until boldness becomes your reflex. Every hesitation you indulge is an edge surrendered. Every second guess is a position handed to someone else. What you rehearse becomes your reality. Rehearse catastrophe and you manifest paralysis. Rehearse execution and you build momentum. And momentum is power. Do not waste time killing fear with reassurance. That is the fool's path. You kill fear with exposure, with repetition, with pressure. You enter uncertainty not because you are unafraid, but because avoiding it slowly destroys you. The battlefield is not out there. It is in here, in the mind that makes or breaks empires, careers, and outcomes before a single action is taken. Fear is not born in the world, it is born in thought. Thought is not truth. Thought is a suggestion. Only belief turns it into law. Your perception of fear determines whether it commands or kneels. And once you see this clearly, you do not unsee it. Repetition is the chisel that carves identity. Do not wait to feel powerful. Act as if you already are. Let your routines speak. Let your discipline speak. Let your ability to execute under pressure become your signature. If this is the path you recognize, stay connected. Not everyone is built for it. Discipline removes the vote. There is no negotiation. The task is unpleasant. It is done. The decision is difficult. It is made. The risk is known. It is taken with calculation, not consent. Confidence follows action, not the other way around. Delay is an invitation to be conquered. The longer you pause, the louder fear becomes. But the mind learns from pattern. Act when fear speaks, and the mind learns obedience to will. Fear does not vanish. Its voice simply loses authority. Fear will return. It always does. But your posture changes. You stop flinching. You stop shrinking. You look it in the eye and say, I know your tactics, and I am unmoved. If you've reached this point and feel aligned, hit like. It helps this message reach others who already move this way, but don't yet have the words. Fear does not steal time. It steals legacy. It does not shorten life. It makes it small. You were not born for comfort. You were born for expansion. And every time you hesitate, you hand over your authority. Fear will not dethrone itself. It must be removed by repetition, by decision, by action taken when it would be easier to wait. Bury fear with movement. Seal the grave with discipline. Walk forward without apology, because the kingdom is yours and fear no longer has a voice. If this resonated, you already know you're a hunter.